All right, so for this one, we're going to do step 5 and 6, pretty quick steps. We want to make sure that we are highlighted on red rock copy. That's what I have right below the blue sky. And then from there, we are going to go to the fill adjustment layer, and we're going to go to levels. And then what we want to do, we see that it comes with our layer mask. We want to go ahead and delete that layer mask. And then we want to, if you see where my cursor's at, the layer mask for blue sky, we want to hold Alt on your keyboard, click on the thumbnail of that layer mask, and drag it down to levels 1. So we're going to hold Alt with the left mouse click on the blue sky layer mask, drag down. We should see a double mouse cursor, and then we should have a copy of the layer mask. It is very important that you do click on the thumbnail of the layer mask, otherwise you'll just make a copy of the whole layer. So side note, that is another way that you could make a copy of a layer. But we want to invert this layer mask. So we're going to highlight that layer mask. So it should be on levels 1, highlighted, hit Control I, and then we should get a layer mask that looks like that. We're going to go ahead and double click on the symbol right to the left of that, and we should see a graph that looks like this. And we want to change this first number to 18. We can see that it ups our contrast a little bit, but it also is kind of like a previous tutorial that we've gone over, some information that we've gone over. We're moving that shadow slider to where it starts to register information for the shadows. And then from there, what we want to do is we are going to go to the fill adjustment layer again, and we're going to go to curves. And we are also going to delete that layer mask, and we want to copy the same one from levels. So we're going to hold Alt and click on the levels layer mask, and we are going to drag that up to curves. Now we're going to double click on this, and right here we should see our graph. So it's still the same information from that we saw before. It may look a little bit different, but it's still the same information. And we see right here we have these grids, this grid. We want to make a click where each line, where the diagonal line intersects with each grid, and then one right in the in between that. So we're going to go right here. We're just going to click once with the left mouse click in each of those spots, and then about halfway down. So we should add 4 more dots. So now we have a total of 6 if you count these 2 on each corner. Now this middle one is going to stay where it's at. This one's going to stay where it's at. And we're going to, if you see right here, see how it ups those highlights? Now there are no numbers for this. So we're going to try to move over to the left. Start back over. So it's right here. We're going to move over to the left and maybe up just a little bit. So maybe something like that. That stays where it's at. That stays where it's at. And then the last point that we put in there, we are going to move it down just a little bit. So we can see we're just kind of upping the contrast in the shadows and the highlights. All right. And stay tuned. We'll move on to step 7.